YouTube, I'm Just Jay. Welcome back to Just Jay Gaming. In today's video, I am bringing you my first win in solos in Warzone 2. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why did it take so long? Well, for one thing, I'm clearly bad at the game. But more realistically, this game has been crashing left and right for a lot of different reasons, for a lot of different people that are playing on PC, and I am not vulnerable to that. I've had a couple games where I really thought I had a chance just to have the game crash on me. But I can honestly say this win felt so good to get. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video so you can see how I get myself out of one of the most difficult situations that I've come across so far. And with that said, I wanted to show you guys one of my favorite landing spots. It's actually to the bottom right of the map. It's a town right next to the Al Shireen POI, and there always seems to be a buy station next to this tower. So what I like to do is I like to land in this first really rectangular building that has 2 floors to it. I grab a gun, I loot this entire building, and then I work my way towards the buy, hitting these 3 or 4 buildings, but only the first floor of each building. These buildings are all kind of stores, so there's registers, there's a lot of cash on the shelves, and usually by the time I get to this buy, I have at least enough for 1 gun and a UAV, potentially up to $15,000 in some cases. So after I'm done looting, I grab at least one of my loadout guns and a UAV. I clear this area out, and then I either grab a contract or I start heading into the zone or finding a better position within the zone. Now, in terms of playing Warzone 2, I will say it's been a huge adjustment for me. I stopped playing Caldera a lot and was mostly a rebirth player. A lot of the repositioning tactics and ways to get you out of gunfights, along with the fact that the TTK is now basically being reset to what it was when we were in Verdansk. It's been a huge adjustment for me in terms of play style. One takeaway that I can tell you for sure is position is everything in Warzone 2. And one of the main goals should be to try to get yourself in one of the best positions, meaning probably one of the highest points on the map that you can be, without putting yourself in a position where you're constantly having to rotate even though you're at the highest point. That'll get you killed quick too. So really, you want to look at the zone and get a good idea of where you think the zone's going to end in a couple circles or so, and take down anyone that comes in your path along the way. One of my favorite things about Warzone 2 is the map. The map to me is really good. I think I do like it more than Verdansk in terms of just playability. Verdansk is just nostalgic, and I think for a lot of people, right? But if I'm trying to be really critical about it, I would say that I think Mazrah is actually a better map than Verdansk in terms of playability, moving around. They have way more buildings than something like Caldera, but there's still a little bit of Caldera mixed into it with a lot of elevation. I think at this point I've played it enough to say it's probably my favorite map. Let me know in the comments below if you disagree or not. Now, in terms of loadouts, I actually am okay with the way that you get your guns now. I will say that I think that the loadout drop does need to happen sooner. I know a lot of people have been saying that, and I do agree with that. Another thing that I think they'll fix, is probably just a quality of life thing, is whenever one person touches the loadout, it disappears from the map. I think what they should do is maybe just fade it out. They should just fade out the icon on the map instead of completely removing it, and I think they will over time. Something needs to happen, because if you don't get to it or you die, and because you don't get to see the map while you're in the gulag, you come back, it's a shot in the dark whether or not you'll be able to get a loadout gun and try to regain. Another tip I wanted to give you guys in terms of things you should buy right away, I will say that I do think if you haven't come across a 3-plate vest while you're looting to get your guns, go ahead and spend that money on that, because if you have a 3-plate vest, for one thing, you have more plates in a firefight, but this prevents you from getting one-shot headshotted with snipers. So especially in solos, it's not really worth it to keep your money. So if you have the 1400, go ahead and spend it on a vest. Another tip I want to give you guys has to do with contracts. If you're going to do something like an intel contract, make sure you actually complete it before the zone covers it, because for some reason, it's not like Warzone 1 where if you don't complete a contract before the zone gets to it and like 30 seconds have passed, the contract gets canceled. You actually keep that contract for the duration of the contract length. I found myself grabbing an intel trying to get information on the next zone, but I couldn't get another contract because of that. I had to wait 3 minutes, and at that point it was just not worth it. Another thing is solos that bothers me. It makes no sense, and I think they're going to change it. I'm fairly certain they're going to change it. Has to do with the gulag. Unless you die in the beginning of the game, the gulag in solos populates a lot slower than any other mode, because people, as the zone closes, people tense up, they don't play as much, they get less aggressive, most people in the lobby, and because of that, people don't die as quickly as they would in any other mode. And I find myself, if I play a handful of times, let's say 5 or 6 times, I'm probably getting a free gulag back, and I'm losing 2 to 3 minutes because it can never find 3 other people to pair me up to fight against. But one caveat to that is, if you want to avoid gulag fights altogether, you're likely going to run into that situation, which is nice. That's all I have for this video. Like I said, stick around for the end game. It's pretty clutch, I'm not gonna lie. If you like this video and want to see more, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Let's go!